The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
All right, here we go. Mick Shots. Kind of a delayed edition today, but we actually had football out on the field, although the inside field for the Cowboys OTA practice, the one that the media gets to watch this week. They'll have 3 of those. That's 2 down, 1 to go on Thursday. And it is Mick Shots here in the SWBC Mortgage Studio. I'm Mickey Spagnola, Everson Walls. And filling in capably for Bill Jones is Danny Surek. Good to have you with us, Danny.
It's been so long,
Been
guys.
a
It's
minute.
so great. I think I've only been on with y'all virtually, so it's so great. I'm so excited to be here with you guys in person in the studio.
Well,
Can't
we're
believe
glad
that was over a
to
year
have
ago.
you here.
Over a year ago, we were Zooming.
Right?
Right? Over a year ago. That year is gone.
Well, do you realize this OTA practice we got to watch was the first one since 2019?
Wow.
Because there was no OTAs last year, right, you guys?
That's great.
And
I see you dressed up for Danny.
I did.
You got your bougie little, what is this, lacrosse? What are you, a rower? You a crew? You a crewer?
Bar
What's going
Harbor,
on?
Maine.
Yeah, what are you doing, man?
That was the last place I went on vacation.
Stop right there. He's last place. Yeah, that sounds about right.
So we got a lot to disseminate here after watching a helmets and jersey and shorts practice. Danny, you were out there. Did you see okay from up there in the press box?
You know what? It seemed okay because I was looking for 3 players. I was
Okay.
looking for Dak Prescott, I was looking for Tyron Smith, and I was looking for Lyle Collins. Check, check, check.
Right.
Fine by me.
Exactly. Absolutely. And that's probably where we should start, Everson. Just kind of.
Let's be clear. I was not out there.
But we want you to ask questions if we don't hit anything.
All right. Because, it's moved to this time of the day. I was napping. Sorry.
You were napping. Yeah, we hate to mess up your schedule, your busy schedule.
That's right.
So Danny is exactly right. Dak was out there moving as well as ever, right? I didn't see anything. He was rolling out, throwing the ball.
That's crazy.
He was fine.
Did it seem weird watching him run and
The only
stuff
thing that
after
was
all of
weird
it?
is he had shoes on that were black. I was like, you're slowing yourself down.
He looked like with the
black
Grambling.
shoes.
Grambling, we had to wear black shoes.
That's all the time.
Yeah, that's all we had.
Yeah, but no, he was fine. Tyron Smith and Lyle Collins didn't do everything, but they did kind of the warm-ups, and then when they went into individuals, they kind of walked and watched, and then they did some of their rehab. And then at the end, when they did the walkthrough part of the practice, they were out there, right? They were out there, I think, a little bit for the 11-on-7 drills because they didn't have defensive linemen up against them. So we've been telling everybody that these guys are ready to go, and I think today was another indication on, what is it, like May 26th?
Yes.
That
Fifth. That's what I said.
Yeah. And I followed Everson's lead on that one.
Can't see my watch. The numbers are
May
too small.
25th, that, we got a long ways to go till training camp starts, kind of the second third of, 2/3 into July. So they should be ready to go. I think that's encouraging. Kind of been telling everybody that, but it was good to actually see those guys out there.
I saw Danny earlier before you came around, and that's the first. Those are the 3 people that I asked about. And it was Dak. You wanted to know about. You told me about Lyle Collins, and I want to know about Tyron Smith. Of course, I didn't think they'd be doing much, but I wanted to see the movement. What kind of movement did they have? How did they look? Back problems, neck problems. Van Der Esch, we were wondering about how he did. She said he looked good. And I wasn't worried about his legs. I was never worried about his legs, always about his neck and upper area there. So
yeah, he looked fine. Jalen was out there in his new jersey, number 9.
Man, that's weird. That was weird to see.
That was my college number, by the way. It was a great number 9.
You were 9?
I was number 9.
Yeah, but you were a cornerback.
The single numbers are cool for cornerbacks, but for linebackers, it makes them look small.
That's what I was just going to say. I thought 9 on Jalen looked like he was 20 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
And sort of the same thing with Micah Parsons wearing 11. I want to see 50-something on a linebacker.
So is that the reason that he changed to 9 because Micah's having 11? Is this happening?
No,
this
that
is
was
not
his,
happening?
That was his number.
I understand that.
Notre
But
Dame.
are we taking this into the season is what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. This is a
So Jalen's going to have 9.
9.
So, but Parsons,
11.
he will have 11.
Yes.
Wow. Huh. Do any other linebackers? Because if you recall, back in the day, we were designated certain numbers.
They changed the rules this year.
God, these guys are so lucky these days.
But guess what? My understanding is if you change numbers and you have jerseys out there still that haven't been sold, you have to pay for them. Wow. Now,
no,
I think
that's not fair.
Yeah, they did. Well, this year.
This year.
How.
That's not fair.
You got.
Why not?
Why does the player have to pay for that?
Because they printed your jerseys to sell, and if they haven't sold yet, you got to buy them back.
That sounds like a you problem. I mean, come on. I can wear whatever jersey I want. Now I have to be beholden to.
But you changed numbers in the in midstream with your product out there, right?
So
Not
when they
your
talked
product,
about the hundreds of thousands of dollars,
you got to pay it.
That's exactly what
Yes.
they were talking about.
Yeah, they're paying the inventory though.
The inventory. That's what I'm
Whatever,
saying.
Not the
man.
ones that are hanging on the shelf.
That is not
the
cool
academy.
at all. Unions got to step in on that. Come on.
No,
Does that make any sense at all?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, here's my question. If you have a 54 jersey, are you going to go out and buy number 9 now?
I mean, if you're a fan, well,
Now you
not
keep,
the way he played last year.
Yeah. Now you keep it as
No, not the way he played last
you
year.
keep it as memorabilia.
Well,
Like,
yeah, I mean, to me, it makes it more
Jalen
valuable.
Smith's jersey
Yeah,
when
it
he
makes it
was
more valuable.
54, right? And he looked like he was moving well. The other thing I noticed about him that maybe I passed off last year and didn't or whatever, he seemed to be a little bit more engaged with his teammates. Mm-hmm. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I mean, he seemed to be more, I won't say necessarily coaching, but more kind of like engaged in other people going through the drills as well, not just going through the motion himself.
Right.
And then, just kind of sitting there watching them, hyping him up, dapping him up when they were done too.
Yes,
right? Like
that's
kind
what
of,
I noticed.
Yeah,
Little fist
more
bumps.
engaged,
Yeah.
I'd say, with them.
I'm hoping it's because he has more knowledge in the defense itself, because that was a big excuse last year. He didn't really know what he was doing. Nobody knew what they were doing. So hopefully this year he's going with a little bit more knowledge and it'll help him play a little bit better, because trust me, if you know what's going on, I mean, you truly have a grasp on your defense and especially who you're studying. It's like the Sean Lee thing. You can anticipate. He had no anticipatory skills last year at all.
No, he didn't. And to me, that meant he wasn't prepared. So I think maybe when you see them draft a middle linebacker, you
All of a
say,
sudden,
okay, maybe I need
the
to be
sense
a
of
little bit
urgency.
more engaged here. But those guys, they were switching in and out so much. At one point, Leighton and Jalen were out there at the same time. At another time, it was Jalen and Neil out there. Remember, they said they thought he'd start at linebacker.
Yes, they
He's
did.
starting at
They did.
linebacker.
You forget about those guys we signed as free agents.
Yeah,
because it's signed before the draft.
And the first time they went out, the safeties were the new safeties. By the way, it was Jaron Curse and
DeMonte Kazee. He was out there for a bit. Yeah, that's was something I didn't know, I guess, where he stood in his rehab from that Achilles injury, which I think was October.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I saw him out there for a bit.
Which means he's doing much better than I am.
So we're not surprised by that.
I could have gone through that practice. Okay.
So how do they look? I mean, you had two guys came in with repaired Achilles,
and he was the year before.
Okay.
Neil. Mm-hmm. They look fine. His instincts are really good. He reacts to the play. They one point when they were out there, they ran an end around to CeeDee Lamb, and he snuffed it out immediately. So, his recognition is good. let's see who else. Really, the other guys that didn't do any. Zeke wasn't there, so we'll see what happened there. I understand he was there yesterday. Zach Martin was out there early, and then he didn't do anything when they started doing the other drills. But I've seen him out there doing his rehab, and he's moving just fine. So
if you
no
were to take a temperature check on the injuries from last year and how they've developed this year and recovered, what are we looking at? Are we looking at if we gave ourselves a percentage? And I'm really thinking defensively here. Forget offense.
I think everybody is the only other person on defense that didn't do anything was DeMarcus Lawrence.
Okay.
And I think they were being very careful with him, all the things he had last year. He was doing his rehab early. The walkthrough at the end, so it was the defensive walkthrough and offensive walkthrough separately. He was out there at left defensive end. Randy Gregory was at right defensive end.
Randy Gregory, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And guys look like, some of them look like they lost weight. I don't know what your perception was.
I think Jalen looked small. I don't know if that was in the number or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know about losing weight. Like Lane just looked really fast to me. Like he looked like he was moving really well. I think too
He's excited. He's ready to go. You know what I mean? You don't play much last year. He's ready to go.
He got in. He missed he got hurt in the first game. He missed 4. Played maybe 7, 8, 9 games, and then he got hurt at the end with the. Was it a calf? A calf, or I forgot what it was. Quad, knee, something, and he missed the last several games. So, yeah. I thought he was looking good. When I've seen Zeke, he looks like he had lost some weight. Dak, they got him listed at 235. He ain't close to 235, I guarantee you.
He's lighter.
Yeah, at least 10 pounds lighter,
and
I think.
You know who looked small because he is, I don't even know what they have him. Nishan Wright, the rookie. You can tell he is tall and lanky.
But I'll tell you what. Make sure I got his number right.
They've got him at 183.
Oh, my goodness.
He broke up another
183.
Yes.
That's how much he weighs.
According to my list.
At 6'4".
Oh, my God.
But
he looks like Danny out there, just taller.
I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you. But he did it. He almost had an interception on Ben DiNucci's throw.
Yeah. So he's got good instincts. I just think I thought everything was, and maybe since we're not used to getting to watch a practice, everything seemed to be moving really fast. Yeah. And so maybe, it was us, but I thought the speed of everything. I'll tell you, the other person that looked thin was Michael Gallup.
He's already lean.
I know.
Yeah.
I didn't think he could get leaner, but maybe he did. Amari Cooper didn't do anything today. He was there, but he didn't do anything.
And what's going on with him?
We'll find out. I think Mike's going to have his conference call.
And the other player, too,
3.
Blake Jarwin was out there. He's not practicing.
Blake coming back. So you mentioned about the injuries.
Yes.
He's still rehabbing. So he was on the side doing his running.
He's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
He really is. I think if he's ready to go, regardless of whatever tight ends were out there from Florida or whatever SEC team or whatever, I still think he's a very prominent figure in our offense.
And one of the other guys out there, or was out there late doing rehab, Mitch Hyatt, the offensive lineman, he had injuries last year, and I think I've heard that he sprained a knee doing some conditioning, so he wasn't taking part. So these are just kind of off the top of my head the things that we kind of saw out there.
I have to say, you talk about people.
Reggie Robinson.
Yes.
So they had a cornerback from Tulsa, 5th round pick last year, 4th round, I believe.
He was cornerback and safety out there.
Yeah, and they moved him to safety last year. Well, he was working with the cornerbacks. So, and kind of went out there with the third team. So when they kind of first went out there, it was Anthony Brown and Trayvon Diggs, then Kelvin Joseph and Nishan Wright, and then Reggie Robinson went out there with the third guys. Who was the other corner?
I gotta say, Reggie being a corner, I know he played some safety, but changing to safety at a very young age, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's really tough. You're used to playing cornerback. The challenges
kind
there
of
from
see
the
things
individual is
right?
one thing.
Yeah.
But if you come in, they say, okay, we want to try you at safety in the pros. There are so many things that can come at you that you've never seen in college. In college, let's face it, you got the same plays over and over again.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how well they run them. But if you're a safety in the pros, you're going to see so many different things. They can bait you and set you up so easily. I'm glad that he's back at corner. I bet he's more comfortable practicing at corner than having to worry about being a safety.
So if anybody sees pictures, 2 other notable number changes, Donovan Wilson, the safety.
Yeah, my man, 37. Okay, he was 37 last year.
Wearing 6.
Oh, my goodness. These guys are so lucky, man. Wow. They just restricted us in so many different ways. I was born too soon.
And then, you know what? You ought to hear a funny story about that. The born too soon. We used to do a kind of we called it old timers lunch. Pat Summerall was part of it.
Wow. Yeah.
And so the stories were always just wonderful. So one day we're at lunch, and we were talking about Ellis, that he was kind of upset about his contract late. Because remember when he signed that deal, he signed like a 6 or 7 year deal.
That's true.
And this was before the explosion of signing bonuses and contracts, and he was kind of grumpy about it, right, and complaining. And so Pat asked about, what's going on. And so I kind of explained to him that, he signed that contract so early, and then later on everything changed. And I said, yeah, he kind of did it too soon. And Summerall goes, we all came around too soon.
He was contemplating something totally different from what you were talking about.
He was talking about how much he was getting paid as an announcer in the early days. So he 6, and then Cedric Wilson is 1.
So now, Donovan doesn't have to worry about his jersey sales. I'm sure he doesn't have to worry about coming out of the pocket.
Yeah, I'm sure that was nothing, either one of those.
If you recall, if someone else had your jersey that you wanted, you still had to pay. You had to pay that individual something. I remember I went to the Giants. I wanted 24.
And I think maybe that, they might – no one was wearing 9.
Yeah.
So Jalen was cool there because they weren't giving away Romo's
But 11
number.
was Cedric Wilson.
So 11 was Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's
so
still
that
here.
Oh, yeah. He's 1 now.
Oh, okay, so wow.
So I don't know if Parsons. I don't know if Parsons had to. I don't know if Parsons had to pay up because remember.
I was gonna say because you're talking about paying inventory.
The question,
and you also have to pay the player.
But I think if you got forced to move, then yeah. So he probably made some money. Remember when it came up in the press conference about it's going to be a negotiation?
Yeah.
And Jerry said, "What negotiation?"
OJ wouldn't even let me
sniff
24. OJ Anderson had 24 when I went to the Giants.
You said Cedric wore 1?
Yeah, he wore
college?
1 in college.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's why he wanted to go to number 1.
So he went back to 1.
Yeah, he went to
because 1, it's a kicker all the time, right?
Yeah. But it's the coolest number.
And 6, no one has worn 6 other than kickers in the history of the Cowboys.
Oh, God. Zendejas.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Zendejas was... That was the bounty gate.
Right. Yeah.
You remember number 6 with the Cowboys. They got Buddy Ryan putting a hit out on the kicker, Zendejas. Talk about being petty.
Trying to take out poor Zendejas.
What did Zendejas do to him?
That's what Zendejas thought. Why is this guy blocking me on the kickoff? I'm not going to go down and make a tackle. I think Tim Cedar had 6. So there was a couple of kickers that had worn 6. So yeah,
that's so cool.
So
man.
few number changes, a few position changes, and just got to see some of the young guys with the veterans back out there. So all in all, that'll be next time we get to watch an OTA. I believe it's a week from Thursday because next week's Memorial Day, Monday. So they practice, I think, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I think our day is Thursday, or maybe it's Tuesday, Thursday, Friday next week. So anyway, the next one we get to watch is back then. Anything else you might have saw before we take a break.
Yeah,
here.
this is not important whatsoever, but I just thought it was kind of fun. Kind of early on in the practice, one of the equipment guys was running with the cart, and he was running too fast, and it tipped over, and all this ice just fell. And you want to take a guess who the first person was over there, ran over there to help him clean it up?
Joe Looney.
Micah Parsons.
Really?
First person over there. And I was like, that's kind of cool.
Shoveling ice back into the bucket, right? It kind of reminded me of Dak's rookie year. Remember they got the shot on the bench and he had something, tape or something, and he went to throw it in the garbage. This was on game day, like during the game, and he missed. And he went over there and picked it up and threw it back in the garbage.
Hey, sometimes you got to act like your mama's watching. Yeah, that's what we go. Act like your mama's watching. And every once in a while you have that guilt feeling, you know what I mean? Because you know you're on camera. And yeah, I can see that. Just go pick it up. Why not?
All right, well, we're just getting started here on Mick Shots. On this Tuesday out at
we're actually halfway through almost.
No, actually we're sort of on time.
Yeah.
Look at there, 1:30 to 1:50.
Danny's making time.
Well, that's because I don't prolong the person that's trying to run the thing, right? Because when I'm not in charge, I never look at that clock, and I know you don't either.
I know I don't. No.
All right. Well, we'll return. Oh, and by the way, as we did last week with our buddy Philippe in France.
Taking calls.
We're taking calls. 888-855-2297. 888-855-2297. Be nice to Chris, and he will get you on as we return to Mick Shots in a moment.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
Hey, Cowboy fans, if you're thinking about attending a game this season, visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today. Stay at the team hotel, have dinner with a Cowboys legend, and experience the best sports venue in the world, AT&T Stadium. Also, tour the Star, get autographs from your favorite players, and talk X's and O's with me, Mickey Spagnola. The official travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys will take care of all your travel needs. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your package today.
Hey Cowboys fans, there's a lot to get excited about for the upcoming season, but nothing more so than having a packed AT&T Stadium to cheer on the Cowboys every Sunday afternoon. At SeatGeek, we've been using this time to make discovering, buying, and selling tickets to events in Dallas easier, like football games, country shows, rodeos, pro wrestling, and everything in between. Download the SeatGeek app today and let there be live. SeatGeek.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with United Ag and Turf. When there's work to be done, a real workhorse can make all the difference. Like the Range Boss package. Our 5075E John Deere 75 horsepower tractor features a bell spear and loader and starts at $369 per month. And the price you see is the price you'll pay. No surprises. It works like a horse, so you don't have to.
Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com. Offer ends February 1st, 2021. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Now, let's get to work.
Back to Mick Shots.
Dallas Cowboys football and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders dance youth camps are back this summer for athletes and dancers of all skill levels. 2- and 3-day camps are available at AT&T Stadium and the Star in Frisco. Spots are limited. Register today at dallascowboys.com/academy. Welcome back in to Mick Shots. Mickey Spagnola, Everson Walls. I'm Danny Sarek filling in for Bill Jones, having some fun with the two of you because it's been a hot minute. Cowboys had their second OTA practice today. Media got to go and watch. Mickey, did you see any other new faces out there that caught your eye?
I did. The Cowboys ended up signing. They had an open roster spot on their 90-man roster. They had very silently last week released William Sweet. He was an offensive tackle they had picked up last year. So they had an open spot, and they had brought in 2 wide receivers to catch for Brett Hundley, the quarterback, when they worked him out on Friday. And this guy, of the 2, I was like, I thought they were using guys that were already on the roster, right? And then I realized, no, their names are not on the back of the jerseys. That's not 15 and 16 on the Cowboys roster. And they didn't sign, and we can talk about Hundley, but they didn't sign Hundley. But this guy looked good. I mean, he could run, right? Well, it was Johnny Dixon, former wide receiver at Ohio State. And he went undrafted in 2019. Houston had him in a training camp, and then they let him go, and then Arizona picked him up, and I believe he was on their practice squad the last 2 seasons. Hasn't played in a game, but his senior year at Ohio State, or actually the last 2 seasons, when he had knee troubles, and he ended up there five years, so he must have got a medical red shirt because he only played like 1 game in 2015, 1 game in 2016, or 14, 15, whatever the years were. But in 2017 and 2018, he played in 22 games. He had 67 catches for 1,146 yards. He averaged 17.1 a catch and 6 touchdowns, 8 in each his junior and senior year. So he didn't get drafted, but I think the Cowboys saw how well he ran routes out there and the speed he had, 4.41 in the 40 when he at the combine. So they had an extra spot, so bring him in. And he looks pretty good out there too, by the way.
You know what's so weird about this past season? I was teasing Danny about not seeing it for a whole year. It's almost like the strike year in '87. Moves were delayed. Moves had to be made for different individuals. And if things didn't swing right for you, you go from being a potential player making a team to just being out of the league.
Right.
It just interrupts your continuity in whatever plans you may have had. And some guys were just unlucky enough to fall by the wayside. Johnny, one of the lucky ones.
Yeah.
Great career, but when you start talking about going to 2018 and 2019, and you talk about pandemic, it just kind of all gets a little convoluted, and you start to wonder, okay, well, my next step was going to be here. Well, now all these variables have changed, and I don't know what step I'm going to make next.
So Dixon, this is sort of like going back to college. He was the white uniform number 6. So yeah, everybody's got different numbers.
Yeah,
I believe I got that right. I think he had 6 on. So anyway, he was out there. He looked good. He catches the ball well. So we'll see where that goes. So Hundley, Brett Hundley, played his college ball at UCLA. He was a 5th-round draft choice of Mike McCarthy in 2015. And how's this for a little bit of irony? He made the team in Green Bay as the 3rd quarterback. The second one was Scott Tolzien, the Cowboys' now assistant offensive coach, right? Tolzien left the next year to go to Buffalo, I believe it was, and so Hundley became the backup. He only played a couple games that year, but the next year is when Aaron Rodgers suffered a broken collarbone. And so he had to come in.
He flipped everybody off on the way out.
The defensive end from the Vikings, right? He thought it was a dirty hit. He just never happy, is he?
He's happy now. He's in Hawaii.
Right? Yeah. Not at OTAs, right? Good one. And so when he broke his collarbone, then Hundley had to come in. And he had been the backup, but he had played like 1 game in the NFL, and
it wasn't pretty.
They ended up going 3-6 with him at quarterback, and he struggled. I think his quarterback rating ended up being 70 that year. He had more interceptions than touchdowns, and they ended up going 7-9. The Packers. That was Mike's first losing season since their second one in Green Bay. So they ended up trading him the next year to Arizona, to Seattle. Didn't play any games in Seattle. They let him go. Arizona picked him up. He played maybe 3 games 1 year. Didn't play at all last year. So they brought him in to look at him. They're kicking tires for that backup quarterback spot. And he throws the ball well. It's just a matter of, how well do you play the game? Do you recognize things? Because I think at UCLA, you guys tell me you might have seen, but he was more of a kind of pass/run quarterback.
Yeah.
And
a lot of RPOs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, they had 4 quarterbacks out there today, right?
Well, that's my question for you about all of this is we only saw one game each last year from Ben DiNucci and Garrett Gilbert. So now, right, and DiNucci was a 7th-round draft pick. Gilbert came in. But now that they're going to have an entire regular offseason, more regular at least than last year, right? And working with this coaching staff, how comfortable are you if the Cowboys decide to stick with the 2 of them as the backup quarterback if they don't find anyone to bring in?
Yeah, and I wrote about this in my column on DallasCowboys.com on Friday, and I was basically like, okay, this is what they got, but don't be surprised if they don't keep kicking tires and just kind of see what's out there. Can any of these guys come in and be better than any of those 3? Because you're probably not going to take more than 4 quarterbacks to training camp, right? You're not going to take 5.
God,
you can't go through that. So it got me thinking because I was thinking because of 5 quarterbacks being drafted in the first round that there would be some veteran guys getting released, right? Those teams can't keep all those quarterbacks, and if you're going to play the rookie immediately, somebody's going, right? Because of salary cap reason. Yeah. So I went back and looked and started looking at the teams that took first-round picks. So Jacksonville, they drafted Trevor Lawrence first, right? The other 3 quarterbacks on their roster right now are Gardner Minshew, who started some games. You're thinking
he was pretty good last year.
That's probably their backup,
Minshew
right?
mania.
Yeah,
so the other,
that's right.
That's right.
Chris was doing the Minshew. Chris Boomer was.
So their other 2 quarterbacks are guys named C.J. Beathard and Jake Luton. Neither one's probably any better than the 3 the Cowboys have, right? And then, if I can read my notes here, the Jets take Zach Wilson, right? He's probably their walk-in starter. Well, they only have 2 other quarterbacks on the roster right now, James Morgan and Mike White.
Oh, I don't think I realized he ended up there.
That's where he was last year. So
you can disappear in New York.
So that doesn't get none of that gets you excited, right? I was thinking, okay, I saw where Tampa Bay signed Blake Gabbert back. He was their backup quarterback last year, University of Missouri, by the way.
MIZ?
We heard.
ZOU. And they paid him $1.5 million. So I figured, okay, he's probably the backup. But they also had signed Ryan Griffin, who they signed earlier, and then they drafted Kyle Trask.
Okay.
But I don't know that any of that gets you excited unless they decide to get rid of Blaine Gabbert. The Bears.
And if we get a backup, we got to have a veteran backup.
Okay,
it can't be a young guy.
Like an Andy Dalton?
Yes.
Here's an interesting twist. So the Bears trade up, right, to get Justin Fields.
True.
You think he's the starter?
Eventually?
I think by week 4, yes.
Okay, so here's there might be some irony here. The other 2 backups that they have, they signed Andy Dalton on a 1-year deal, $10.5 million, and they still had Nick Foles.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
Nick Foles' cap hit is $6.6 million, and if they get rid of him, it's $14.3 in dead money against the cap. Andy Dalton is counting $10.5 million against the cap, but if they get rid of him, it's only $5.5 million in dead money. So
don't even stir the pot.
I sort of finished my column, and Daddy won't recognize this, but you remember that old Western movie Shane?
Yes, of course.
Shane, and the movie
Come Back Shane.
It ended the movie with he kind of made friends with this little kid, and they had Shane riding into the sunset.
You don't know if he was dead or alive.
Yeah, and the little kids yelling, "Shane, come back!"
Shane.
And I'm going, "Andy, come back!"
He just might.
I mean,
He won't, though. He wants
might.
to start.
I know, but what if they decide he's not the starter?
Well, the way that coach is up there, he's very conservative. And you talked about maybe game 5, you said? What'd you say? For
Justin Fields. I say by week 4. If he's not by week 1.
I'd be surprised because he's a very conservative head coach up there.
So he may go with
I
the
won't
veteran.
see him. Yeah, I think I'd see him going with Foles before he would even go with Fields.
I wonder, you could qualify keeping, Fields not going to cost you that much on the rookie contract, probably $3.5 million against the cap. But can you keep Foles and Dalton?
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they say they can.
They can.
So we'll see.
And well, Foles is always that guy he's like that owl in the nest. You know, he's always up there.
He's always got some place to go, right?
You know, and he's always going to be there for you. So everyone's always calling Nick back. Now, he's the one that's coming back all the time.
Right.
Yes.
You think Aaron Rodgers wants to be a backup?
I'm no comment.
So here's the other thing. So I started looking at comparing who the Cowboys have as potential backups with what some other teams have. You know, and there's some teams that they've got that kind of veteran guy, like Arizona has Colt McCoy. Atlanta signed
Colt McCoy. How old is Colt?
He's got to be up there now, right?
Wow. Go ahead.
Atlanta has A.J. McCarron. They signed him. He hadn't played that much, but he's played. Mitch Trubisky's in Buffalo. Case Keenum's in Cleveland. But like Denver, they brought in Teddy Bridgewater, signed him. They got Drew Lock. And then the other two guys are Brett Rippon and Case Cooks.
Hey, man, they probably said that about Everson Walls, too, back in the 80s.
Okay.
Like, who is this guy?
Houston.
Colt McCoy is 34, by the way.
Very good, Chris.
Years old, Colt McCoy.
Houston.
Thank you, Chris.
Deshaun Watson. We're not sure what's going on there.
The guy from Indy, right? Taylor? Didn't they?
Tyrod Taylor. They've got him.
Wasn't he Indy before?
Quintessential back.
Yes. They've got Ryan Finley,
That's a damn good backup,
David Mills, and they just signed Jeff Driscoll, who worked out here. So I don't know that gets you excited. Look at this, what's behind Carson Wentz in Indianapolis.
Oh, that's weird.
Jacob Eason, Jalen Morton, and they drafted Sam Ehlinger.
Wow.
So not everybody has this backup quarterback that you go, okay, you can probably save the day. The Rams, they brought in Stafford. Yay, right? The backups right now, John Wolford, Delvin Hodges, and Bryce Perkins.
Well, on the other hand, let's look at Detroit.
And I've got that too. So behind Goff right now,
Jared Goff,
Tim Boyle and David Blau.
Boyle I've heard of, right?
And the only reason I know of Blau, he played at Purdue, and the first game he started
against Mizzou.
Yes, and he threw for 500.
Good guess.
This guy.
And he threw for 500
Whoa,
yards.
no wonder you remember him.
and Missouri won the game.
Oh, that's even better.
By some miracle. So yeah, it's like, not everybody has the Giants right now. Daniel Jones, right? The backups, Mike Glennon and Clayton Thorson, who was here on the practice squad.
Isn't that
right?
what Cooper Rush was?
Yes, and they
last year,
and they ended up releasing him. So yeah, there's not a lot of these guys out there that, the Redskins. Okay, Ryan Fitzpatrick. After that, it's Taylor Heineke, Kyle Allen, and Steven Montez.
It's the football team, Mick.
Oh, sorry.
Just letting you know.
Oh, slap my mouth.
Racist.
But Heineke, he
played well in the playoff game. And that was the only game he really played, right? That was the playoff game.
Allen played well against us, didn't he?
Yes, he did. You're right.
He played very well against us. They beat us.
And somebody might say, well, Blaine Gabbert played well against us. We happened to win. But, So anyway, my point is with these backup quarterbacks, there's not enough quarterbacks out there.
I say not enough veteran quarterbacks out there.
What do you think
all
happens
the backups
to
are some young guys. And if you go with the veterans, when I say veteran, they might be 3-year veterans who never touched the field since they got out of college.
Right.
That is not a good backup to me. If I'm going to go with a backup, of course, Andy Dalton would be great. That was the best backup you can have at that point. You know, Foles or somebody like that who has pretty much used up all of his backup material now. He's not the guy that he was when they won the Super Bowl. I don't even think I'd feel comfortable with him coming here.
See, and here's the other thing. If any of these guys that have a little experience come available, there's a whole bunch of other teams that probably would say, hey, how about me?
Yeah, we got a bunch of rookies back here backing us up as well. Yeah, they want some veterans.
So it's not like a slam dunk.
It's not.
You know, that these guys would just say, okay, for $2 million on a one-year deal, I'll come play for you. So
it'd be nice if Hundley would have gotten a lot more experience as a player because he has just deteriorated as an athlete.
So he ended up with what did I say? He came out in 2015, right? And you know, Mike knows him.
He was a decent athlete coming out.
He played 17 games in the NFL, 11 of those in the 2017 season. So,
and those were the meaningful games.
9 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 5.8 an attempt.
Yeah.
That's what scares me right there. Took 29 sacks and got a 70.6 quarterback rating.
You would think that they could kind of, you know, dumb it down a little bit for the young kid coming in. He's not Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
He's still trying to learn from
Rodgers. Got a pretty good arm.
Rodgers got hurt. He had a good arm, and he was a nice athlete.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't do well in the Pac-12 by just being a bum. You know, he was a pretty good player. But I think he just eroded from lack of play.
And, you know,
that can happen.
And you guys tell me, but my philosophy on backup quarterbacks, like young guys like that, once the season starts, they don't get any better.
You can't learn.
Right?
There's no more learning
You don't really
process.
get the opportunity to.
Right.
There's no learning process anymore.
Starter gets all the snaps.
And you're the dummy squad quarterback now. You know, you're just doing Washington stuff. You're doing the Cowboys stuff. You know, you're Romo this week. Or you're, you know, Tom Brady this week. So, yeah, that doesn't help you learn at all.
In high school, we called it the nut squad.
We call it dummy.
Dummy squad. How politically incorrect are you guys? Oh, gosh. So you asked about the backup quarterback. I say you keep your eyes open.
It's ugly.
And maybe something comes available.
Yeah,
I think you just, at that point, you just kind of have to get lucky, right? Chips fall where they may. I don't know that anyone out there is probably better than Garrett Gilbert at this point, right? I mean, it's hard to say. We haven't seen a lot of him, but you think he's been around in the league enough, a couple of years, another full year under his belt here with his coaching staff. You'd like to think, you know, he'd be fine if you need him. My initial thought with all this is like, oh, Dak's back, Lyle and Tyron are back, and then it's like, hold up. Do you not remember what happened last year? How important a backup
Even
is?
my dogs were howling. My dogs knew he got hurt.
And it was
so howling during the game.
And it was sobering too, right?
Yeah.
To say, okay, we got to go with the back.
And that's what she's saying. That's what Danny says. It's very you can be sobered up real quickly in this situation, and that's what bothers me about it. I am just very surprised at the lack of opportunities that we have out there as far as backup veterans, and with what we have. You know, and I know these are nice young men that are backups, but I just don't think they're ready at all. I thought DiNucci was
think about it.
Clearly, physically outmatched.
Today,
I worried for his physical health because he's so small back
yesterday and today were his first 2 OTA practices of his career. So you asked the guy to come in as a 7th-round draft choice. That ended up playing at FCS school, right? James Madison. And he gets no OTAs, no rookie minicamp, no veteran minicamp. He gets no preseason games. He got training camp, but everybody was in a rush to get everything ready. I'm sure.
And
how
all
much
of his linemen were hurt.
He had maybe 2. Connor Williams and probably Zach Martin was still out there that game.
And that's probably the worst thing about it. I mean, you can put all that together,
right?
But not having all of your offensive linemen in that game. Bunch of new guys coming in. It's not like those guys that got hurt a couple of weeks ago, and we had some guys that we could fill in, and they got their experience in. Okay, we feel a little bit better with them. They're settled in. Not this time.
Yeah.
They were hurt like that week.
Do you know how
going
fast
down?
How fast that game must have looked to him when he got in there? it was like rush hour in Manhattan.
No, but the ushers were his offensive linemen. Like, here, this way, sir. This way, sir. You can just come on past.
So it wasn't a fair assessment. I'll be interested to see what happens through an off season. Gets a chance to maybe play some preseason games and get a better read on him. Because when we saw him when I finally got to see him in practice, it's like he was very accurate. Yeah. And he had some zip on the ball. But you're right, he's very slight. So we'll see where that one goes. But for now, keep looking. But in the meantime, the Cowboys got so lucky in 2016, right? You lose Tony Romo. You lose Kellen Moore, and the guy that some people couldn't figure out his talent, Dak Prescott, because they thought that he should have been the fourth guy, ends up starting 16 games for you, and you win 13.
He would have stayed the fourth guy. What happened?
It's a minor miracle, maybe a major miracle, that they were able to survive with a young guy like that.
There's no doubt.
And not been
especially the way he played his first year. No, you can't. That is a miracle.
Okay, more Mick shots coming your way. We'll be back after this.
New Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. You deserve it.
I do deserve that.
You deserve decadent flavor without sugar. And a day at the beach without sand getting everywhere. And a relaxing bath that your children don't interrupt.
I deserve all that?
It's really just a visual metaphor for Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Everything you want, nothing you don't.
A visual metaphor on the radio. I do deserve that.
Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. The zero you deserve is finally here.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
There's nothing as unique as our eyes, which is why Essilor pioneers ways to make lenses as unique as you. Verilux for super sharp vision, Essential Blue for protection, and Crizal for freedom from glare. 3 cutting-edge solutions in a single unique lens. So whatever your needs, insist on Essilor. Visit your local Essilor experts and find the perfect lens for you. See more, do more, Essilor.
Back to Mick Shots.
Don't miss your chance to see the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium this season. A limited number of single game standing room only tickets, that was a mouthful, are on sale now. Get yours today at dallascowboys.com/tickets. I thought it was going to say single game tickets and standing room only.
You got to hand those.
No, I should have just let you saw how good Danny did it.
Yeah, well, she's a pro. You're not.
Yeah.
That's our way back into Mick Shots. Thanks for that, Everson. Go ahead and give us a call if you guys have any questions we haven't touched on so far. 888-855-2297. Cowboys had day 2 of OTAs today. Media was out there, including Mickey. One rookie we haven't really talked about so far, linebacker Jabril Cox. Mm-hmm. How is he looking out there to you today?
Yeah, he I think it was maybe at one when they were rotating everybody in and out so much, but at one point early when they were in 7-on-7, the first kind of team stuff they did, he went out there with Micah Parsons. So they kept those two guys together. Micah was in the middle and he was on the weak side. And again, he looks good in coverage. I think he moves awfully well.
We got a nice first team, second team thing going on.
Yeah, I think linebacker for a position that I was somewhat concerned about.
Everybody was.
Yeah, I think when you do that, and I'll tell you the other guy that got a lot of snaps in the middle, and I want to make sure I say his name right because I always transpose it. Francis Bernard. Could be Bernard Francis, right? So I shouldn't say that. I'll mess you guys up. Right? But they had him working in the middle too. And he looked like he was taking, like when he was calling out signals and getting guys lined up. So I thought he was interesting last year, and he was a good special teams player. So they're going to need some guys to step up on special teams from that linebacker spot.
Oh, they have what we have what on roster 10.
Go ahead, guess.
10 linebackers.
You're way high.
Am I?
Probably 7 or 8.
8.
Oh, I'm way high. He said way high.
Dramatic. You know a name who I just kind of forget about just because he was hurt and then didn't really see him last year is Luke Gifford.
Yes, and he's back. So one of your injured guys, he was back out there. And so the other linebackers that we didn't mention was Azur Kamara. Was he an opt-out guy last year, or they picked him up as an early free agent? And then Luke Gifford, Francis Bernard. So, somebody's going to have to step up for the special teams guys. Justin March.
That's what the linebackers
was a special
are for.
team guy.
Linebackers are great special teams.
Who else?
Joe Thomas.
Joe Thomas. Yeah, good.
Joe still there?
No.
He's in Houston.
Okay, I was going to say we talked about that.
They
last
paid him
week.
a little bit of money, so I don't know that the Cowboys actually wanted him back. I guess.
So we are heavy linebackers. That's probably the position that we have the most of.
And you would love to keep. For sure, you're going to keep 7.
Yeah.
But you'd love to keep 8 to say, okay, special teams, or if somebody makes you keep 9, right? But yeah.
What about defensive backs? I mean, that's got to be our second most populated position.
It may be the most.
So we're talking 10
Yeah, but
DBs?
I don't know how that makes me feel more comfortable by any means.
Well,
Just
we
'cause
needed
you've got
them.
a lot of them.
We needed them. It was about need. We had to address it.
Yeah, but skill, quality over quantity, right?
There's 18 guys.
You are lying, bro. 18 DBs.
It's that last group down there.
Wow. Boy, we are just no respect for DBs, man.
Is 18 not enough?
They just bring them in.
Just bring guys in?
Yeah, man. It was 25 rookie DBs. I told you in 1981. So, I didn't even get through the drill sometimes. I didn't even get a chance to participate in the drill because the line was so long.
Yeah, but you know what? Back then, there was no limit on how many guys they could bring
Well,
to
what does
training
that say
camp,
about right now? You got 18 with a limit.
18 out of 90.
Come on. That is a lot.
Well, that's good.
So how'd Kevin Joseph look today?
You throw more solutions at the problem,
Yeah, that's how you do it.
And something
that's how you do it. Something
right?
sticks. That's right. So Joseph looked good.
Yeah, he
Kelvin
looks
Joseph?
good. He looks like
still bouncing around out there,
yes.
looking like John Morant or somebody on the football field.
He didn't look like he was lost. Which, by the way, if you were guarding John Morant, would you let him drive into the lane? There's no way.
No way. No.
And they kept letting him do it.
Yeah, no, he's gonna have to trick me. Yeah.
Or he's going to have to hit a three.
He's going to have to shoot threes. And he was doing that a little bit, but he's going to have to show me more than one game.
We digressed there, but that's okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Oh, we got a caller.
Hey,
Speaking of the Memphis Grizzlies.
Now we've got a caller from Nashville, Bob. Hey, Bob, how you doing?
Great. How are y'all?
We're good.
Hey, real quick, we talk about offense and defense, but I thought our special teams was much better last year. What are y'all thoughts about special teams going forward this year with John Fossil? Thanks. I'll just hang up and listen.
That's a good question. Because John knew he had a good special teams.
Yeah.
But he overplayed his hand sometimes.
He was pretty risky.
He was
no doubt about it.
Way risky. Didn't he go fake punt?
Are you thinking of the Washington game, or
was it Washington when they go fake punt?
I believe it was.
Yeah, I thought it for some reason
at their 24-yard line.
Come on, man. But he knew what he had, and he was so desperate to turn things around from the previous year because 2019 we were horrible.
But you know what? When you go back and look at that, the call might have been good. The execution.
You just got to execute it, yeah.
The execution fell apart.
But see, that's the thing. Everything can work with good execution. But analytics don't tell you to run certain plays at certain times. It just doesn't work.
Their percentages of working aren't right. Or they don't figure in the downside, because most coaches, you know this.
You better figure in the downside.
They coach from what if it doesn't work, right?
Yeah, that's what you should do.
Yeah, not if it works, look what we're gonna have.
But looking at the numbers, special teams improved a lot last year from the year before, and I mean. I think he's fun. Even today at practice, when players, stretching and warming up at the beginning, he had the football in the middle of the field. He was really just throwing it up and catching it, having fun. Like, he brings so much energy. And talking to the players last year, I mean, they love playing for him.
They really do. And he's a good coach. He really is a good coach.
Yeah, he created enthusiasm there. So
Well, he knew we needed it.
Yeah.
He knew we needed it. Those gambles, we were flailing offensively. And we were flailing in every way.
And to answer the guy's question, I think they've upgraded the linebacker spot. So that immediately upgrades special teams.
And to go with the improvement from last year, as he said.
Right.
No, that's a good point. I think we're going to be well, especially. And guys, how many times have I said it? I get tired of us trying to depend on just offense, defense. All the good teams I've been on, you have every weapon available. The Cowboys had every weapon available. Special teams was important. The practice itself, sometimes Tom Landry would come sit in the meeting room. Special teams, your head coach is in there. I guess the fact that he was a punter, that kind of helps, that he could kick the ball. So he understands the importance of it. We're going to need everybody this year, just like we needed everybody in every facet of the game last year. We're going to need it, trust me.
That's Fossil's philosophy. He said that from day one joining the staff. He wants his players to know that special teams can make a difference and that, they are important. They can play a role. And we saw that a couple of times last year, especially the watermelon kick against Atlanta.
Yes.
I mean,
oh my God. I forgot about the watermelon kick. That was very cool.
Dan Quinn hasn't forgot about it.
I don't think he thought it was that cool.
Did you hear his story?
No.
The first day he walked into the building, whatever screen he went by, they were replaying stuff. And he said, I walk in and it's like, no way, the watermelon kick. He's watching it again. He goes, I can't even run away from it.
And let's face it, guys, any great play is not just made by great people. Sometimes some fool screwed up.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes. Some fool screwed up. That Falcon player was right there.
Yeah.
He could touch the ball at any time.
And I don't know if he didn't know that he could get it before
you gotta
it
know
went
the damn rules.
Well, you hope so,
you
right?
Sit in special teams. That's all you did is play special teams.
I know.
You don't know the rules.
So they changed the rule on how to line up now for the onside kick.
Because of the watermelon?
I don't know if it was because of the watermelon, but you can't overload one side. It's got to be 5 and 5.
No one got hurt. I mean, they took away. I know. They took the teeth out of everything.
What they were trying to do is reduce the percentages of the offensive team recovering the ball. I mean, the defensive
kicking team.
The defensive team. They were just hoping that maybe the offensive team can recover more. So from a defensive standpoint,
they took away its effectiveness initially, and now they're trying to bring it back.
Right.
Good job, NFL.
So they sort of. I think what they took away was kind of the pooch kick up in the air. Like everybody has to be up. You can't have
can't get a running start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, but yeah, I think they've got some young guys. The receiver they drafted, Simi Fehoko,
Stanford.
He basically pointed out, right, I can play special teams, right? I make some tackles. And I think he blocked a kick at Stanford, if I remember reading his deal.
He's a frustrated DB, that's all.
That's all he is? I think he may have started that before he ended up as a wide receiver. But he's got something, too. I saw him today. Caught one pass on the move, and he's got good hands. So this will be – I think there'll be some competition at that wide receiver spot for 4 and 5, and maybe to convince him to keep 6.
Well, let's be real, guys. 4 and 5, they are instrumental on third downs for us, especially as many times as we fell behind.
Or the top guys got hurt.
Yes, yeah, and we had some Cedric Wilson coming in and doing a great job.
A lot in practice today because Amari Cooper wasn't practicing. It was Cedric Wilson that was out there. He looked good.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think he dropped a pass.
I like Cedric.
He
I
looked
like
good.
No, I think he's got something. Just don't ask him to throw the ball on the fake punt.
Hey, he threw a touchdown pass.
Well, he should have thrown another one.
Yeah,
There went to Dak.
You should have first down.
I do have a question super early on from all of this. Now that you've watched a practice, they're back practicing. Which position group are you most excited to see competition-wise kind of pan out the next couple months? You've got 18 DBs.
I think I think the secondary,
and that's including linebackers now.
Right. And I agree. Like, do they need Keanu O'Neal to play linebacker, or is he a safety? What will those other safeties do?
You got
Curse,
you got Donovan Wilson,
Curse
you got
and
the
Wilson,
two guys that just came in.
and DeMonte. Why can't I keep remember that guy's
Kazee.
name? Kazee. Curse and Kazee. All right, I got it now. I'm interested to see what happens there because there's a little bit of a log jam. And then the other thing is, who's my backup swing tackle? Because I don't think we know. I know they signed Ty Nsekhe, a veteran guy who has started games. Lastly, Washington, by the way. But now, can Terrence Steele step up and do something? I noticed Brandon Knight, they actually had him at guard when Zach Martin wasn't out there. So can one of those three guys step up and say, I got this? Or might Josh Ball, the rookie they drafted in the fourth round, step up and say, yeah, I can do this? But I think that's a position, not only backup quarterback, but I think that's a position that'll be interesting to see.
In center. Who's your backup center?
Well, they had a bunch of guys with their hand on the ball before practice started. It was because Biadasz was snapping elsewhere. So the rookie that they signed, Fihoko?
Farniak? Is that how you say it?
Farniok?
Matt Farniok?
Yeah. So he's going to be
Nebraska?
a center. He was a guard, but they moved him to center.
Anybody from Nebraska on the offensive line?
Connor McGovern.
I'm signing anybody from Nebraska on the offensive line.
That's good with you.
Yeah, good with that.
Connor McGovern was doing some pre-snaps, as was Connor Williams. So, yeah, we'll see how that one plays out. Right now, I don't know what the rookie can do, but I would think they've got to work Connor McGovern there behind Biadasz and then see how it plays out. I think they don't want to have to use more salary cap money to bring back Joe Looney.
That was my question.
Yeah, I think that might be because no one has signed him yet. So that might be the emergency thing there. So, yeah, backup center, backup offensive tackle, backup quarterback. But you know what? We're not so much worried as starting spots as basically what we pointed out.
If we learned anything
backup.
from last year.
So after last year's fiasco, everybody went down. Now your backups are extremely important. And you realize that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think those are a couple of the things that we've got to – and we won't get a chance to answer them in OTAs because there's no pads on. So we're going to have to wait till training camp. And I know we always sit here and go, okay, good, training camp started. Now we can figure this out. And then the first 3 days of training camp, that's basically OTAs.
Right.
I think, too, another spot is interior defensive line. Tristan Hill was out there, but he wasn't practicing. He was doing, strength conditioning stuff.
He'll be ready.
You think, he's starter?
Because he tore his ACL in the fourth or fifth
game. Same as Dak.
Fifth game, right?
Week 5.
So I see him doing his rehab.
Nobody cared.
And he's running.
Nobody cared. No, that was unfair. We talked about it.
Because he got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt the same weekend as Dak. We thought that was so unfair. Nobody
he didn't get all the glory.
Yeah.
You know what?
Dak took all the praise.
You know what it reminds me of? Back in when Emmitt Smith broke Walter Payton's record. Darren Woodson broke the Cowboys single-season tackle record.
Really?
Or career record. I can't remember which it was. And it's like footnote.
It was career.
Yeah, it was career. Okay, thanks, Chris. And it was like
I never heard it till
bad
today.
game.
I've never heard it till today.
Yeah, bad game to do it in. That was always our joke when we would fly And the weather would get real bad, and it's like if this thing goes down, the last paragraph also perishing in the crash.
You're going to be called staff. And staff.
No, I'll tell you what it'd be called. Same thing we got called when we had the bus crash, and they pointed out that there was 4 people from the Cowboys organization in the bus. But there was no coaches, there was no players, there was no front office people. It was non-essential personnel.
No one important.
Non-essential
Basically,
personnel.
no one important.
I said, you know what? If my mother was living, she might have thought I was essential.
No one will be missed. There no one that will be missed. You're okay, guys. Well, who are they? It doesn't matter. We're good.
And the kind of saddest though funniest part, and it was funny, so this happened at like 1:30 in the afternoon, but we were on our way back to training camp that night. We figured we didn't want to stay in a hotel, and so we found the guy that was the driver that was taking us to Vegas, and he says, I can get you to Oxnard. And it's like, we'll be better off showing up at 4 a.m. than staying in a hotel and have to take all our stuff out and fly, and then somebody's got to come and get us. So it was about midnight or 1 o'clock, and we started looking to see how people wrote about it and the different AP stories.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them, they identified Emery, the bus driver. They identified me because I had been blogging or tweeting whatever we were doing about it, so they knew my name. And then the other 2 were a videographer and Rowdy.
Wow.
Rowdy
was on it.
Rowdy was on the trip.
Oh, wow.
And I read it.
I don't even know what Rowdy looks like.
So I read it, and I looked at Foster, right? He was Rowdy. And I said, it's a damn good thing that Rowdy didn't kill, because I said, it's a damn good thing you didn't die, because then they would have had to get another mascot, because Rowdy would have been killed. And he looked and he goes, I'm a person. I got a name. I'm not a character.
Yeah, as you go walking around with a suit on.
It was a sign of great reporting that was going on. It's like, oh, our poor business. I think we went overtime, didn't we?
Did we?
All right.
That's how I go see Scott, get my money.
Go see Scott. Danny and I will go. Oh, we missed lunch, didn't we?
Not me.
Oh, you thought ahead.
I thought ahead. I dipped out the last 3 or 4 minutes of practice.
Oh, you got here
You
early
went upstairs?
enough.
You went upstairs to the room? Man, that's some good food. That's some good food up there, Spags.
We should have got it
Come
before
on, you've been here a
we
couple
went.
years longer than me. You didn't think about that?
I thought we were going to be done at 1 o'clock. I didn't know we were going to go that long. So, well then, we better go. One of us is hungry. All right. Danny, thanks for sitting in.
Thanks for having me, guys.
And you
Very
might
cool.
and you might have to make another appearance if you can next Tuesday, because I'm not going to be here.
I'll see if I can pencil you guys
See
in.
if you got time in your busy schedule.
We can handle this, me and Dan.
You'll be back, and Bill will be back. He had golf duty, the Colonials this week.
Tough work.
In Fort Worth.
I mean, in this rain, kind of.
All he's doing is sitting there.
It was
That's all he's doing.
It was an interview. He didn't
he's
have
not
to cover
playing.
anything.
He's not playing.
All right, that's it for Mick Shots
That's
on
it.
this Tuesday after that OTA practice, and we'll see you guys next week.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!